Welcome to Monarchist Minute. I'm your host, William Stout, here with Toby Costner from the UMP. And Toby, didn't you say Austin might be joining us later?
It's possible, but he could have forgotten.
I hope he does make it. We're going to have a very short but fun episode this week where we'll be talking about sports, traditional sports, the traditions of sports, sports famous and favorite among kings, queens, monarchs, and nobility, and, just having fun with sports. I mean, Toby, you'll probably be leading most of this conversation because I'm not much of an athlete, but
I mean, neither am I. I just dabble in fencing.
I've always wanted to learn how to fence, but there's no places near me that teach it. Like, I've always been fascinated by HEMA. I do teach myself, I am a little self-taught in some swordplay, though.
I will say that is a very risky thing because a lot of times, when you don't learn with other people, you can learn bad form. And then once you finally are able to get to a place, you have to unlearn it, which is hard.
I know, but it's all I got.
Fair enough. So you know about the distinction between HEMA and Olympic then?
Yeah, HEMA's more true to the historical style, whereas Olympic is, in my opinion, for lack of a better term, blasphemous sport that involves
I love that.
what can I
I love
what I can only describe as jousting, but stupider, where just run into the guy and hope you hit him first.
You know what? I absolutely agree with you on that. That is a hilarious way to
Like,
put it, though.
I've always wanted to watch Olympic fencing, and one day I finally got a chance to sit down and watch it. It was the one event I actually wanted to watch, and I turned it off 5 minutes in because of how absurd it was.
Yeah, yeah. No,
They,
HEMA, it's pretty fun. There's actually a tournament going on in my hometown area right now, Donnybrook.
really.
I wanted to go watch, but
I I use a machete to train one-handed swords. I have a long-handed sword. I have a two-handed sword. I think it's a Chinese Dao style, kind of like a scimitar.
yeah. What? How much does it weigh?
I don't know. It's technically a showpiece, but it's got a sharpened blade like it's the normal one. But since it's a showpiece, it's a little bit heavier than
Uh,
what an actual fighting sword would be. But given that the ancient Romans would use weighted gladiuses to train, I consider that more of a benefit than a, you know,
eh, it's something. It's something.
yeah. I also have this really long stick I use as a fire poker that I use to train polearm with.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I guess I do sometimes. I'll go out into the yard, pick up a stick, and start whacking a tree. So I guess it counts.
I honestly always liked the idea of polearms. Like, if I had a HEMA club, I wouldn't actually go to learn for swords. I'd want to learn how to use a halberd.
You see, there's the thing. You can't go full speed with a halberd.
What do you mean?
It's too dangerous. Those things are designed to kill armor.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true.
It's unfortunate, but a lot of clubs, most clubs, anyways, they do have pole arms. I know mine. We have spears, but I'm more of a saber guy. That's what I do. Um, Unfortunately, this week I can't go because of my new tattoo.
Right. Remind me, I'll send you a picture of my arsenal after this.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you've been interested in getting in on HEMA, right?
Yeah, but not to my knowledge, there aren't any places close enough for me to attend, nor do I have a free enough schedule, full-time employee, part-time college student.
Right.
Hard to make time for anything else.
Yeah, that's fair. Uh, just out of curiosity, have you used HEMA Alliance yet?
I have not.
Yeah, that's the. It's an interactive map. It allows you to find clubs, so you might want to check it.
I will have to do that. That sounds very interesting.
Are you? You might also look for some with weekend classes, but yeah. But no, let's get into the monarchist aspect of the HEMA. Eh? It is
Yeah,
monarchist
I
minute.
mean, yeah, I mean, it's basically, I always liked the idea of HEMA because it's basically just resurrecting the old warrior traditions that we lost when we switched over to gunpowder. I mean, the only reason that East Asia, their martial arts are remembered so much better than ours is because they did it so much later than we did. They preserved so much more of the art. Where unfortunately we threw ours away as soon as we figured out that gun beat plate.
Yeah, it's a sad thing, but hey, at least the old masters left us some manuscripts and whatnot. And now, fortunately, because of that, we actually have living lineages now. Like, I'm in being trained by this one guy, Bear, his name. Um, he's trained some of the best saber fencers in the nation. So
It'd be cool if you got to go to the Olympics.
that would be cool, but it's Olympic fencing, not HEMA, so I don't know how long I'd last.
Yeah, like there should be a rule in the Olympic fencing where you got to be able to touch your opponent without them being able to touch you for so many seconds, and that be what counts as a win.
Right. No doubles.
Right.
But yeah, no, my state actually has some of the best fencers in it. So you know about HEMA, so I presume you've heard of some of the names within it. Have you seen False Edge HEMA?
Nah, I don't really know any specific clubs or people. I've just watched a few videos out of idle curiosity.
Fair enough.
I follow the Scalgrim channel. Do you know who they are?
I think I've watched a couple of their videos. I usually watch either Sellsword Arts or False Edge HEMA. Or not.
I
It's
think I know Sellsword.
yeah.
Aren't they the ones that do the unscripted fighting?
I don't know about unscripted. One of them is named David, has a lot of tattoos. The other is Clark.
I might be thinking of someone else, but there is a channel I found where they do unscripted fights between like pairs, like they did a samurai versus an English longbowman, and Novgorodian knight versus a samurai, or like all the
That's,
fantasy duels you usually think of when you want to hear of pair ups.
I'll have to watch that sometime.
Yeah, one of the interesting ones I saw is they did a tag team between two legionnaires that were fully kitted versus a medieval knight.
Huh. That'd be interesting, but the sad thing is we can't really recreate the old Roman styles anymore because we don't really have any surviving um, like documents or anything.
Right, but it was interesting watching them work together with their shields to try and contain the knight and look for openings.
Fair enough. Yeah. I guess we do technically still have gladiators, but that's kind of a different thing altogether. But no,
Yeah, boxing and MMA are the closest things we have to modern gladiators.
I would argue Hema.
Well, Hima's not as big in mainstream as boxing and MMA.
Fair.
If it was, I would lump it in, but mm,
It's sad that it's not mainstream, but yeah, I get it.
maybe
Anyway,
someday.
one day.
Maybe we as monarchists can help encourage the tradition.
I tried to convince Austin to make Hema the official UMPA sport.
And honest to God, this is one of my hot takes and controversial opinions. We should really bring back dueling, like
Oh,
sanctioned, regulated
did you
dueling.
know that in Texas, mutual combat is a valid and legal way to settle legal disputes? You can't use weapons,
God, I love
but
Texas.
yeah, for all the things I disagree with Texas about, I got to give it to them. They still have some degree of dueling. But yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
I like the idea of bringing back dueling
Like I
to
feel like
faction, of course, not to death, but you know.
right to yielding, but think about it: if all gang violence was solved with officiated like fights instead of just drive-bys and killing each other.
My gosh, the paradigm change that would produce in gang culture would be so interesting to watch. Uh, the rap, what would the rap sound like? I would genuinely be
I would
interested.
love it. Now, here's my question. I probably know the answer, but what weapon would you bring to a duel if you were planning on dueling?
Saber.
I would
Well,
probably.
maybe a rapier, but I don't know how to use rapier.
I mean, it's a thrusting weapon, not a cutting weapon. I would probably pick something similar to machete since I'm most used to using machete, like a long cutlass or, something that's a little weightier and has a big cutting edge.
Yeah, cutlass is technically a saber.
Yeah. I've thought about the idea of designing my own sort of blade.
That could be fun.
Like, I wanted to design something with, like, the heft and the hacking ability of a machete, but with, like, the length and agility of a katana.
That would be a bit challenging.
I know. Because it'd have to have weight, but at that point it'd be too long and probably be a bit unwieldy.
Yeah. You know, one of the first sparring matches I had. Actually, I think this is technically the only cross sword sparring match I did was against Katana. Uh, yeah, I whooped him. I feel bad for saying it, but I whooped him.
Yeah, katanas are really an overrated weapon. They were designed for their specific purpose and the necessities of Japanese culture, but they're really an overrated weapon.
Yeah, too many weebs. They're not bad. They're fairly great weapons, but yeah,
They get more hype than they deserve.
yeah.
Now,
And
something a while ago I started. Sorry to cut you off.
you go ahead and finish.
Now, something I stumbled upon accidentally were Chinese anti cavalry swords that are basically the length of a pole arm but are like half blade.
Huh.
Yeah, I forget I can't pronounce the name, but look up Chinese anti cavalry swords sometimes, and you will see some absolute insane weapons.
All right then. Have you seen that one Indian whip sword?
No, but it sounds awesome.
Yeah, it is a full metal sword that is flimsy, and you can fling it around like a whip.
That reminds me of a weapon from one of my favorite sci-fi series. Have you ever heard of the Red Rising books?
Nope.
Okay, well, the main weapon in the Red Rising books is called a razor. And what it is it's like a well, the blade is made out of something called polyene fiber, which I'm assuming is some kind of like super polymer, like is some kind of synthetic diamond based compound.
Yeah.
But it has a but it's held together with biochemical connections. And so
Ugh.
what you can do with it is you can toggle it between a rigid fencing blade and a whip.
Huh.
So yeah, you
Huh.
can fence with it, and then you can just, if your opponent tries to retreat and get far away, you can just let go of the toggle and throw it at them, and it'll lengthen itself out, and you can snare them in. Now, what's really cool is if you manage to wrap a limb or wrap it around your neck, you can then re-hit the toggle, and the blade will become rigid again and sever whatever that is.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but anyways, moving back into the realms of sports, I noted that just before starting, you want to talk about like how form and elegance. I think Hema definitely has that. Like we footwork, so much footwork, and making sure don't lean, uh, sword keep it down, but point it up. There's so much you got to remember, and it is very form driven. Like a lot of people, they see sword fighting and they think, swing sword. No, no, like there is so much that goes into surviving a sword fight, and you wouldn't believe it.
And I know most sword fights are finished within 3 moves, or an ideal sword fight is finished within 3 moves.
Right. I mean, in a real duel, it's probably going to take a little bit longer because since you're not wearing protective gear, you're going to be more focused on distance checking and not dying. Whereas in like a HEMA sparring match, you got protective gear on, you have a little more confidence. But still, you are right. It is pretty quick to finish up because a lot of your attacks are going to be all right, this is just the first attack. He's probably going to parry it, so my next two attacks are already planned. It's a lot of you got to think a little bit ahead, but also don't think at all.
Right, because you got to be able to stay flexible, but at the same time have a plan on what you're doing.
Right.
It's a bit like poker in that way.
I guess. I don't know.
I'm a bit of a card player, so.
Yeah. Well, I love Texas Hold'em.
I love Texas Hold'em. I love 5-card draw. I remember the last time I played with my family, I cleaned them all out.
Nice. I
3 hands it. What?
I
Go ahead.
I almost won the last poker night, but I got tired. And I was like, all right, you know what, dude? Let's just finish this. Let's both just go all in, and I lost.
I 3 hands in, and I managed to whip my family with with not a full house, but a flush.
That is amazing. So, anyways, pivoting from HEMA to another thing that I like to watch that we technically still have access to the true version of jousting.
Do they
I
still do jousting?
There are some people who still do legitimate jousting.
That's pretty cool. That's a dangerous sport.
Oh, that's a fucking lootly, but it is awesome. Sorry for my cussing.
Oh no, you're fine.
Um, have you ever seen Full Metal Jousting? It was a show. It aired a while back, but
No, but that sounds great.
yeah, it was, it's a reality TV, so there's a little bit of faking to it, but it was a competition. There's two teams, black and reds, and they did this one time type of German jousting called Reuschlinger or something like that. You had
Uh-huh.
a grid, a waffle grid pattern on your shoulder, and that would be your target. Yeah, I'd point. Go and watch it. Do yourself a favor and watch it. I love that show. But no, it is legitimate jousting. A lot of those guys have histories and like stage jousting and whatnot, but
Yeah.
it itself is real jousting.
Sounds incredible. But I forget what I was gonna say. Um, God, dang it. Sorry.
You're good.
Mm. But yeah, jousting sounds cool. Oh, I just remembered. Reason we stopped doing jousting, and one of the main reasons is because I think Henry VIII of France got killed by it. And that's one of the funny points I bring up about history, about how why history moves faster and slower than we think. Because that happened like 20 years after Hernan Cortez conquered Mexico. But we think of jousting as something that happened long before the colonialism.
Yeah,
It goes
that's
to show we're not as far away from the medieval era as we tend to think.
right. The Empire of Charlemagne stopped existing. What, 30 years before Texas started?
I mean, yeah, if you consider the Holy Roman Empire the successor, then yeah.
Hold on, I ain't going. Hold on, I ain't gonna go there, Chief.
I have reservations about. I will say it's to call it the successor to Charlemagne than it is the successor to the Rome, but
Yeah, that's fair.
well, I have my reservations about the Holy Roman Empire because of how decentralized it was. Was it really an empire? Was it just a confederacy? From this history, it functioned as basically a very, very loose hodgepodge of German city-states.
I grant it an empire. I do not grant it
Yeah.
Holy Roman, though. I don't grant it holy because I don't think any institution outside of the church can truly call itself holy. And Roman for pretty obvious reasons. They had no continuity with Rome culturally or politically.
And I've of people trying to claim control of Rome because the empire that does that ends up destroying itself either by its own hubris or by pursuing this model that ends up stagnating and destroying them. Like the
Right.
reason the Roman Empire fell,
Yeah.
which is why I think Britain had the right idea. Britain didn't inherit the title Roman Empire. Britain didn't try to. Britain surpassed it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Now,
I can say
th- go
Britain
ahead.
is a daughter of the Roman Empire, and through that lineage, we can claim that America is the granddaughter of the Roman Empire.
Empire, what Byzantium
Uh,
Empire.
you are cutting out like a motherfucker.
Sorry, I see it to be what the Roman Empire. We are to this empire.
Huh. That's an interesting
Did
way.
you? Did that go better?
I kind of caught the last bit that you were saying we're to the British Empire what the Byzantines are to the Romans.
Yes.
That's an interesting way. I don't really see it that way because the Byzantines were a continuation, not an independent entity, but the provinces that were still there in the east.
That,
Whereas we're our own
about the
independent thing.
spirit.
Yeah, I guess I can kind of see it, but I think I think it'd be better to just say we're our own and like we're descendant of because it allows us to be great in our own right.
Right. That makes sense. Now, what
What now?
about the king of sports? In the second most boring sport on the planet, second only to golf, tennis.
I thought you were gonna say polo.
No, I was talking sports or the king sport or whatever the absurd title is. I don't know. It's just a. It's one of those sports I consider things only played by snobby rich people or old retirees.
You'd be surprised at how many older middle class workers will play golf. Not quite retirees, but like still working. Like, and when I say middle class, I mean like kind of more lower blue collar middle class.
Yeah, I don't understand how. Like, one of my coworkers and me go golfing with him and go day drink is like, I'm sorry, dude. I appreciate the offer, but I hate golf.
It interests. It's kind of interesting to me how they like it, but I haven't played it, so I can't really quite definitively say. Fencing's my sport. Golfing is theirs. Now on to tennis. Interesting that you say it's boring because I've always kind of felt tennis was a little bit decently interesting.
Now, I'd say it's boring, and not in the sense that it doesn't require skill and it's not interesting to watch, but in the fact that people treat it with such melodrama. Like, people make it more interesting than what it actually is.
Isn't that the story of everything, though?
No, some things are genuinely interesting. Tennis is not.
I don't know, man. I find it interesting enough to play when I play GTA 5.
Now, what are popular sports? Things like football, basketball.
What about those sports?
What are some of your opinions on them?
Well, being a red-blooded American, I absolutely love football. I am currently laying on my Chiefs jersey right now.
I can only watch football live. I'm one of those people. If I'm gonna watch sports, I live, live and in person.
Right. Same here.
Kills out. It kills.
Yeah. Same here, and I actually don't know how to even watch full games that have been recorded. I only know how to watch them live.
Like, I don't understand how people can buy box seats because you're just so far away from the action that you might as well not go at all.
Right. And man, I'm still waiting on my dad to take me to a football game. He promised that he would take me and my brother when we were teenagers. And as you know, I turned 20 just a week ago. Oh, a week ago. Fuck.
I feel
Now,
bad. 2 weeks after I turned 25, the lady at the grocery store forgot to card me, so.
no, um, I'm getting down about myself something unrelated to my birthday that just so happened to happen a week after it last year. We can
Oh,
talk about it in private.
oh, I'm sorry.
But no, yeah, I turned 20 last week, and my dad still hasn't taken me to an in-person football game. So,
You see, oh, hey, um, Boy Scouts
huh?
go. Actually, it's college football.
I made out college football at the end. I didn't hear the rest.
Okay, wait a second, I'm gonna unplug my mic and plug it back in.
Nope, you're still doing the robot cutout.
How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, but yeah, Ohio State University for the longest time has led Boy Scouts, and it is to stay for the game afterwards. Well, since I'm a leader in my scout troop now that I'm an adult, I go watch the games with the boys. We usher and then we sit back and watch the game.
Hmm, that's neat.
It's SRO, but it's a free college football game, so you can't really complain.
Right. I've never really been into college ball. I mean, I kind of sometimes I pay attention to Air Force when they play since I wanted to be in the Space Force so bad, but other than that, not really.
I will only watch college ball. I can't stand professional football.
Really? Why's that?
Yeah. It's the quality of college ball was just so much superior to professional football. The players have harder. You see,
Interesting take.
prof-
Yeah, you're so cut. I wonder if it's me. I wonder if it's my internet that's the reason you're cutting out. Maybe the audience will be able to fully hear you, and I just sound like an idiot. Um.
maybe you try pop it out and pop it back in, and we can see.
Well, I'm on a phone, so I don't really have a mic to unplug and plug back in.
No, I mean like leave the stage and then come back on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do that real quick.
And waiting. There it is. I'll drive with the difficulties. Let me
And
know.
audio. All right. Hopefully that helps.
But I feel like Americans would really like rugby.
Isn't it basically just Australian football?
Right, but it's more physically aggressive, and I feel like that would appeal to Americans.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't
Anywho,
know.
do you
I
have
do
any?
like good NFL football.
What's your opinion on hockey?
I like hockey. I'm sad that my state doesn't really have a full NHL team, but we have the Mavericks, so it's fine.
We have the Blue Jackets in Columbus, and they're pretty good. They're pretty fun to watch.
Oh, that's cool. I like watching me a good fight.
Yeah, that's the number one reason you go to a hockey game, just to watch the brawl.
Yeah, the only sport where it's not disincentivized.
Well, anywho, we said this was going to be a shorter episode, so do we have any other things you want to talk about, or?
Uh, no, we already covered all the interesting sports that have monarchist and nobility twinges to them.
Right. Like we said, this was just going to be a fun, simple episode, so
Yep.
please bow your head and join me in prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Thank you for joining us this week on Monarchist Minute. We hope to see you Again, same time, same place. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening to this on another streaming service, hit whatever the button is that gives you the notification every time we upload a new episode. Follow us on social media. Write to us or message us if you want to help out the cause, or join us on Discord. Until then, may God bless you and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you and good night.